Hi, everybody. My name is Steph the Educator, and you're tuning into Essential Pedagogy podcast. And I just wanted to introduce you to our very first show. I started this podcast because it's my hope as a result of you guys listening to this podcast that people within the profession and outside of the profession grow in compassion for one another and by getting an inside view of the complex structure of the American education system. So I will have guests every other week on Thursdays um, to introduce you guys to and to talk about the public education system. My name is Stephanie, and I have been in education for 20 years. And I found that a lot of my friends and I would spend lots of time on the phone after school and chat about our experiences after school. And even though all of our challenges weren't fixed, it made us feel better to have a community of kindred spirits who really love children, who was frustrated with some of the things that went on in education and just wanted to have a place to vent to someone who understood. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows that, we're trying to be as positive as we can. We have lots of things to fix within education in America, but we are going to shed light on some things. I have a special guest with me. Her name is Tara Sheffield, and she's been in education 27 years. Don't she look good, y'all? She is one of my good friends. We went to college together. Tara and I went to undergrad together, and she actually started, of course, education before I did. She actually majored in education, and I got alt cert. And she's really close to retirement. She spent 17 years in elementary, most of that in special education. She spent 4 years in high school. And the last 5 years, she's been a counselor in an elementary school, pre K. And do you want me to share your school district? She is a very positive person that I just want to get some of her thoughts on some things. And can you share a little bit more about yourself, Tara?
I think you've kind of said it all. This is actually I'm on year 27, and it's been a joy. It's been highs and lows with the education, but it's been a joy to be able to serve our parents and our students, and most of all our community.
Yeah. Okay. So, Tara, let's start with asking you about what do you think we need in this world today? I know that most educators, we kind of go into education with this altruistic view of we're going to change the world and we're going to make this perfect and everybody's going to love and enjoy one another. And that's not always the case. But tell me more about, what you think the world needs more of.
Well, you know what? One of the biggest things that I think we need more of, like you mentioned earlier, is compassion, but especially empathy. I think we need to have an understanding and care about how other people feel. I think if we were more empathetic and compassionate with one another, we can have a better level playing field with how we're educated, because no two are alike. Also, just people understanding the plight of educators and how hard we work and how much that we put into and how we pour into the lives of young people and our students, and being appreciated, because that level of empathy and compassion will equate to appreciation, because I do think that we are one of the most underappreciated jobs and professions. out there.
Yeah.
And so, it's just, it kind of is mind boggling how and it's not a knock against sports because I love sports, but we put our athletes and all these other people on pedestals, but we forget about the people, and like even the coaches and the educators that help them get to where they are. And so
Yeah.
I think that we need to value education, and understand and care how much that the teachers and everybody in the education profession pour into the lives of our students.
Yeah. I've always said this, doctors, attorneys, they get certifications, they get their licenses, they have to take their board exams. We do too. We
Mm-hmm.
have to keep our licenses up, and by getting continuing education hours. um, but a lot of people just feel like they can just barge in a school and talk to a teacher whenever they feel like it, like we have nothing else to do. We're sitting around waiting for someone to just feel free to vent on us and get all your frustrations out on us,
Mm-hmm.
where every time you have to see a doctor, every time you have to see an attorney, you have to make an appointment and sometimes pay to see these people before you get a chance to yank their ear on whatever else is that you're dealing with, right? I find that we have to, um, as educators, make people, and assert ourselves as professionals and say, hey, I have a boundary. Can I see you Tuesday? Can't see you today. Got to go to my son's football game. um, so yeah, we have families and lives too, and we just can't just stop what we're doing and deal with some of the things that you need, even though it is important to us to address these issues, just like it is important for doctors to heal people. But you still got to come in when they're available. So let me ask you this: if you could change one thing about the education system, um, I already asked you that, didn't I?
No, you said no.
What do
You
you,
asked about what the world needed more of
what?
today.
Okay, so what do you think? Um, you think the education system needs to be? What needs to be changed with the education system?
That's a loaded question because it's
I
quite a
know
bit, but
it's a lot.
it is it's quite a few things. I think one of the biggest things, honestly, and that I hear and that I've heard for over 20 plus years is the pay. I think we need
Mhm,
to pay our educators what they're worth. Just
mhm,
because we're off in the summer, we deserve every day off in the summer and get paid for that. Because if you equate it to other salaries, it's still not the same. And we need to
mhm.
invest more into the educational system, especially in the
Yeah.
state of Texas,
Mhm.
because we are ranked pretty low with how much that we invest back into our educational system here in the
Don't we
state.
have that lottery? We got
Yes,
lotteries, people making billions.
yes, but the other thing is just it needs to be a profession that's honorable, like it used to be. There
Mhm.
were times people couldn't wait to be a teacher, and you like felt good about getting out there in front of those kids and sharing a part of you and making sure that they got their work done. But now it's kind of like a fallback career,
Mhm.
and so we need to put
And
put
to
it.
tell you the truth, tell you the truth, Tara, it's not even a fallback career anymore. People
Mhm.
are shutting down education programs at
Oh well, that's true.
institutions, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, they're shutting them down because people aren't enrolling in them. They're going for different, technology and things like that, careers where, they get paid significantly more.
Right.
I feel like computers are important and technology is important, but I also feel like people are too.
Yes.
you know
Absolutely. Hmm.
and we're the first line of defense with children. A lot of times, we besides their parents, it's
Hmm.
a teacher that touches their lives first.
Absolutely.
um what do you think the greatest lesson someone has ever learned from you was?
Ooh, wow, that's a good question. You know what? That makes me think of a story. There's something that we did at the high school that I taught at, and it was called the senior pinning. And
Okay.
so the kids would always think about somebody that made the most impact on their life. And it was always an honor to do that. And I did get a chance to do it 2 times with 2 different students. And
Oh.
so you said the greatest impacts
Hmm.
that I made.
The greatest lesson someone has learned from you.
Oh, well, I guess that they could be anything that they wanted to be if they believed in themselves. I always set high standards, and I was kind of hard on my kids, my students, because my expectation was up here, and
Hmm.
even being a special educator, we don't limit our kids. Those
Hmm.
individualized educational plans or programs are significant to what they can do and can push them to do even more. So I always held the bar up here. So they would always say, you never gave up on me. You pushed me. That was what one of the kids said that I pinned. And he was like, you made me always believe in myself, even when it was really tough. And so, and he's also
Oh.
a college graduate now too. So that was a beautiful thing
Oh
to say,
yeah.
learn to believe in himself from me.
Yeah. He's a because he was a special needs person, wasn't he, in the
Um,
special needs program?
yes, he was. He just had a learning disability, which I like to, of course, we call it learning differences as well.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
it was something that he was able to
To
overcome.
overcome.
Hmm.
Awesome.
Yes.
So, what is the big? We have a Facebook user question. It says, "What's one of the biggest challenges you face with your job? Any direct parent or child confrontation?"
Okay. Well, one of the biggest challenges was COVID,
Oh,
2020.
okay.
Not being able to physically be there and having to do the computer platform. It's so different when you're able to physically be in the room with kids and be able to
Hmm.
reach out and touch them and get their attention and love on them when they need it and encourage them when they need it. So being and even though I'm a school counselor now, even then I got a lot of calls about distressed parents. I think I spent more time helping the parents than I did the kids, but that was very challenging, just not being able to physically be there with the kids and to be able to encourage them.
Yeah, yeah, that was a challenge.
Hmm.
Although I've had some really interesting. I teach in middle school. I'm currently a teacher still, and um, children tend to be bigger than I am. I'm not that big of a person. So, there was one time I had a confrontation with a child, and I was trying to get him to learn something. And after school, I was in tutoring. We don't get paid in the schools for extra tutoring of our own students, but we do spend our own personal time doing this after school. So this particular student was being very difficult, and I was trying to get help from an administrator or whoever was on campus to get the student to stop whatever he was doing. He actually blocked the door where I couldn't get out, and I had to yell past the student for a male teacher who I did not even know was there, and may have been there a time I was there or not, to come in, get that student. But that was one of the first times, or that, and only time really, I haven't had a student really get out of line that way, but only time that I felt like threatened physically
Hmm.
by a student. And that was some years back, but that was one of my ordeals. But I've heard stories. I've heard of
Hmm.
stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've heard of stories.
Yeah.
You know, to answer the question that I asked Tara about, what do you think? One thing I would change about our education system is that I feel like, and this is why I look up to Tara so much, she doesn't even know this, that I've always said we needed more counselors to do counseling in the school, and not the schedule changer or the schedule maker or the master scheduler or anything like that, or the tester, testing coordinator, but actually working with the students and their parents, helping our kids, our children, and parents to be healthier people so that we can function in this world better.
Hmm.
I think, you know, 90% of our issues in school is, with disruptions and, you know, challenges is due to, mental disruptions or disorders that people really need help in, and sometimes people are getting that help, but most times they're not. And I feel like, you know once we are healed, then we can be a blessing to others, and really be our best selves, and that includes children, right?
Mhm. Yeah, for sure.
We have
And
a
I'm glad you said that. Or do you want to answer the
go,
question? Or
no,
can
go ahead, go
what
ahead.
you said? Because I think what you hit the nail on the head when you said that we need help with our mental health right now.
Hmm.
We go to the doctor if if we break our arm or hurt something physically. So why can't we go to the therapist or the counselor when we need things mentally, when we need help mentally? And so one of the cool things about our district is that we do offer free counseling to families at our counseling center. So I think that's a great thing. And I know other districts do it too, but I was hoping that every district did it because I believe everybody should have access to mental health.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you weren't doing this as a career, what do you think you'd be doing, Tara?
So a funny story because me and you went to good old Langston University. So I was actually a
Hell you, hell you.
so I was actually a nursing major before I changed to education, and I made it to clinicals, and so I did not have the stomach and I have a kind of a gag reflex. I didn't have what it took for the other stuff. I thought the blood and the vomit and all that stuff wouldn't bother me, but the smells were the worst thing for me. So I probably would have been in the health profession, but it kind of worked out because I'm in the mental health profession. So I
Yeah,
still have that capacity to help people. So that's what
yeah.
I would have done was to be a nurse. And I have really good friends that are nurses as well and doctors.
Yes. And you didn't know this, but when I was a child, I wanted to be a pediatrician, but I
Oh,
just couldn't take. Now I do dissect frogs, but I'm not doing humans. Not at
yeah.
all. No. And I'm a science teacher, so I'll dissect frogs, but I won't touch a human like that.
And we both taught science. We took so many science hours, right? So I got
Yes.
to teach science on the high school level as well.
Yes. Yes. That was fun. You actually was at the same high school as my son.
Yes, I
I really
was. I was
appreciate
there when
that.
he
Yeah.
was here, and I remember
I
when he was born. He was so
I
cute.
know. I know.
So
I
yeah, we
know.
go way back. We go way, way back.
Way back. That just throws me into, I took a break from education because of my mental health and
Mhm.
feeling overwhelmed, stressed. So I took about a year and a half off and went back to education. Um, in that year and a half, I started a tutoring company, and I uh, gained compassion back for the public education system because
Mhm.
I was helping students one on one, and they had difficulties. I had lots of dyslexia students, lots of students struggling in math, and kids tune out of a screen. After a while, they think it might be fun. The parents think, oh, they could learn from YouTube, but really, everybody needs a human touch. I think
Absolutely.
that's one of the things that we learned over the pandemic. Is
Mhm.
that what you think you took away from, what people need now?
Oh, absolutely. When I 100% agree with that. And I remember my husband was saying, "Oh, thank God you were an educator because I don't know how to handle all of this. I don't know how to teach them stuff. I don't know what to do to motivate them." But that touch does make a difference, and just being in there with that energy of that positive energy of encouragement and letting them know, come on, just move forward. We can do this. We can do it together. So it does make a difference when you're able to be able to physically, touch the kids and get their attention, and look at them in the eye and try to engage them physically as
And
well.
you know what I found? I found that whew, wearing a mask impeded communication a lot.
did. It was
Not just,
so hard. It was
it was hard.
you couldn't see facial expressions because I teach feelings to my little ones, and they're just like, I
Mhm.
can only see your eyes with your feelings. So it was difficult. It was.
Yeah, and just it muffles your words. So I
Mhm,
had a hard time hearing students,
mhm,
and you try to be as clear as possible to kids, and
mhm.
just, like, okay, I'm I'm going to say this slow and as loud as
Right.
possible. It was really tough. And
Mhm,
I choose not to wear a mask now. I am vaccinated, but I choose not to wear a mask because I want to be absolutely clear. I want everybody to read my facial expressions as well as hear what I have to say clearly.
mhm. I agree 100% with that too. But speaking of the mask and the whole COVID thing, I think people need to understand not only do we put ourselves out there for our kids, but we put our health out there as well.
Yeah.
And even our physical safety with all the things that are
Hmm.
happening now. So that whole
Yeah.
empathy and compassion thing, I think that's so important, and for people to understand that we are dedicated to this profession, especially those that like us that are veterans
That
that
state.
stayed in it, because there were other things that I could have done, but I chose not to because I love the kids, and that's what
Mhm.
always kept me motivated was being with the kids. So,
Yeah.
uh,
There are people who chose not to stay.
oh,
And
absolutely, 3 to 5
yeah.
years now, right? It's the average
Yeah.
teacher only lasts about three
Yeah.
years. It used to be five.
Yeah.
Now it's
Yeah.
three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a tough profession. It is not as easy as people think.
Oh no.
Yeah, they don't know all the things that we do in order to, make this education thing work.
Hmm.
Um, I just admire you. I admire the things that you've done
Thank you.
in children's lives, and in my child's life. It takes a village for real.
It absolutely does, and I admire you too, doing your own business. You out there doing it all, Steph. So
Yeah.
I'm
Time and
inspired by
attention
you.
tutoring.
I love it. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Still going strong. So it's just hard doing both, but it's very rewarding. It made me develop a compassion to keep pushing on and pushing forward in public education because it's needed. It really is needed.
That's sweet.
Um
Somebody said you are appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to be appreciated.
Yeah. So Tara, one last thing.
Mhm.
Okay. Uh what do you think the greatest lesson you've learned from someone else
The
within
resilience
education?
within. Okay, well, you know what? There was a principal that I had
Hmm.
that I admire, and I'm gonna put her name out there. Her name was Benita Blake, and I worked with her for 10 years.
Yeah.
uh, in the school district when I was doing elementary teaching as a special educator. And I learned that no matter what, you have to keep pushing through. I watched her as she battled cancer, as she
Wow.
battled breast cancer, and she was still there as much as she could be. And she fought through it. And she inspired me because I'm like, what am I complaining about? This woman is going through chemo, but yet she shows up here every day to be here with our students and to meet with our parents and our teachers and to be the leader that she was. So I learned to always continue to push through no matter what adversities that you face. And that's what we have to do as educators too, because we have some kids that come from tough situations too. And
Mhm.
so if we push through, then we can encourage them to push through as well. So that was one of the biggest
Absolutely.
lessons, resiliency and pushing through.
Man, that's good. That is a good lesson.
Thank you.
You talked about healthcare or people battling health issues in education. I- You know, I just had a conversation today with my neighbor teacher, how you just make friends with that neighbor teacher.
Right.
And I ran to the bathroom today, and um, it's safer to have the kids in the hallway with cameras than to have them in the classroom all by themselves and things like that. So I
Mhm.
ran to the bathroom, Wasn't my intention to be about 30 seconds late, but I was. And she was like, "Oh, I see you. Okay, you're here." So she kind of kept a lookout for them. And I told her, I said, I'm not, I'm done being resentful towards my profession because I can't use the bathroom. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah.
done with that. I'm just going to take
Mhm.
care of myself, or even
Mhm.
anything. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to eat breakfast. I'm going
Mhm.
to do the things that I need to do to take care of me and my body so I can be the best teacher I can be. So she was like, "You know what? I'm going to be out for all of October because I have to get, some incontinent stuff taken care of because of all the years of teaching and not going to the restroom or not drinking enough water and things
Mhm.
like that." People do not know how we push our own health to the
Mhm.
side so we can go to work every day and be consistent. So that we are, we try to, teach the kids timeliness and not tardies and things like that. And
Yeah.
then so we like hold it so that we're not tardy,
Right.
and things like
Right.
that. But we also need to teach people that, it's okay to take care of yourself.
It's
It's okay to
self-care. Yeah,
Yes,
self-care
it's
for
okay to take care of yourself. That's where
Mhm.
you're going to be able to take care of the people you love around you the
Mm.
best, right? Or do your job the best, or do whatever you love to do the best is by taking good care of yourself. So, with that said, Tara, I hope you're taking good care of yourself.
You know what? I try. And you talk about the health thing. I have to say that I've had COVID 2 times and I've gotten it from school. But you know what?
Oh,
I'm vaccinated and I'm boosted,
no.
but it
Yeah.
was not real it wasn't severe both times
Yeah.
that I had it. It was just inconvenient. It was Christmas and then recently here with the something that I had wanted to be present at that I helped plan for almost 2 years. But that aside, it's okay. It's just one of those
Hmm.
get through it and you keep going. So
Okay, well, education here, the the vaccinations don't keep you from getting COVID. It just helps with the severity. So I'm
yes,
glad that it wasn't severe.
it just
I'm
felt like icky
glad.
colds. Yeah, it
I
wasn't bad.
know.
I was negative like after 7 days both times. So
Yeah, wonderful.
yes.
Wonderful. You have a great immune system then, Tara. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Great. Great. You're healthy. Tell me some of the things you're doing.
Hey, taking some vitamins and supplements
Absolutely. I
and
do that
water. Hydrate,
every,
hydrate,
yeah,
hydrate.
every
Yeah.
day, every day, every day.
And go to the
Yes.
bathroom when you have
Oh,
to.
so we have a Facebook user that asks if you do counseling sessions.
I do. You can. I'm actually a licensed professional counselor as well, outside of the school system, and you can find me on Psychology Today. That's all my information there.
That's good. And you're busy, a little busy with that after hours, aren't you?
I just a little bit, yes.
But you're doing what you love, so it's
Oh,
just
it's
all
something I
good.
love, absolutely. So that would be my career now. That's my dream career is to be able to be a therapist and help people
Full
with mental health
time.
issues full time, and that's what I'm going to segue into after I retire because I do have this
Mm.
year and next year, and I'm going to be done. It'll be
You
28.
got how many years, girl, before you retire?
After this year, I won't even count this year. We're on this year. We started it, so after this year, just 1 year, and it'll be in 2020. Yeah,
Girl.
yeah. Ooh,
Wow.
yes, it's been a blessing.
It, yes,
Thank
you
you.
did that. You did that.
Thank
So
you.
I just want to thank you so much for being on the show. I hope to have you back sometime. Um, you've been a
Absolutely.
delight. I love you to death or life, right? I love you to life,
You and
and
me,
I know we never part. We were actually roommates. We were actually
we were
roommates.
roommates. We had a blast, didn't we?
We we did
That's
have
a
fun.
whole
We
nother
can't talk
show.
about. I know, right? We can't talk about that.
Not right
We
now.
can't. I know, not right now. Not the show. Maybe another show, but not
Maybe
this
another
show.
one.
Yeah, but thank you so much, Sarah. I really appreciate your insight on all this, and I just know that your last 2 years are going to be just awesome, and that you've been a blessing to those around you. And I can't wait to celebrate you at your retirement.
Oh, thank you, Steph.
I can't. I
And thank
can't.
you for having me.
I
This is
can't.
great. This is very nice, and it's an honor to be your first guest. I'm so excited for you
I know, I know. I can't wait to bring you back. I know you got you're busy this fall and you just made time for me and I really do appreciate that. And maybe it, calm down in the spring. I don't know. Your boys might be doing track and stuff. I don't
You know
know.
what? I will come back anytime that you will have me back, and
Ah,
I
thank
will
you so
move
much.
around.
It's been a pleasure. It's
Thank
been a
you.
pleasure. So, let's see. Do we have any other questions or any comments? Well, if not, guys, I want you to continue to tune in. We'll have other guests talking about just different issues and different topics. I have a topic coming up. Oh no, I have a topic coming up about single parents and children that come from two sets of parent homes and some of the challenges it brings. So I can't wait for you guys to tune in and hear about that.